Not all food carries the same level of safety. Pufferfish, for instance, is well known for its potential risks if not properly treated to remove toxins, and consuming any moldy food can lead to illness. Certain foods, if eaten hastily or not sliced correctly, may pose a choking hazard, but there are certain foods intentionally designed to carry some risks. Despite perfect preparation, they can still cause harm or have a significant impact on one's health. These intentionally risky foods demand caution, and in some cases even require protective gear before consumption. The urine diet. The urine diet is a bizarre weight loss practice that involves restricting your diet to 500 calories a day and injecting yourself with the urine of pregnant women. The diet can supposedly help you lose up to 0.5 kilograms or 1 pound a day. Strangely enough, this miraculous weight loss is attributed to the injection of urine as opposed to the limit on your calorie intake. The urine of pregnant women has a special hormone called human chorionic gonadotropin, or HCG, which is created by the placenta. If injected into the body of a non-pregnant person, this hormone can trick the brain into thinking that the body is pregnant, which some say makes the body metabolize much faster. Some of those who've tried the urine diet are extremely happy with the results and attribute their weight loss solely to the urine injections, firmly believing that it's thanks to these shots of urine that they didn't feel hungry during the dieting period. Skeptics, however, argue that the urine and the HCG hormone have nothing to do with weight loss. They accredit weight loss purely to the 500-calorie diet and warn that the urine diet poses obvious dangers. For a cheaper, the urine costs between $300 to $565 for a 6-week supply, and more beneficial way to lose weight, limit your calorie intake, which you must do with this diet anyway, and take up exercise instead. St. Elmo's Steakhouse's shrimp cocktail. Plants are unable to move about and escape like animals, and they therefore need to be more creative in how they defend themselves. Many have the ability to produce, in increasing amounts, chemicals that cause irritation and stinging pain in any herbivores foolish enough to try to consume them. Although this is a powerful deterrent for most animals, there are people who actively seek out foods containing such chemicals. Allyl isothiocyanate, or mustard oil, is 5 times as lethal as arsenic, mass for mass. Although people often build up resistances to small amounts in their food, a small restaurant in Indiana, USA sells a dish specifically designed to push a person's tolerance to their limits. The signature dish at St. Elmo's Steakhouse is a prawn cocktail whose spiciness comes from the 9 kilograms of grated mustard oil containing horseradish used to make it. The sensation of eating this dish is described as akin to being electrocuted. Scotch and cigar-flavoured cupcakes. This entry is tinged with a touch of sadness. New York bakery Prohibition was a site for foodie pilgrimage for 8 years, drawing in lovers of cupcakes, growing in popularity, winning awards, and even releasing a cookbook. Having grown a loyal following even before they opened the bakery, selling their range of innovatively flavoured desserts at the Hester Street Fair, patrons would queue around the block to purchase their special and limited edition baked goods. One reoccurring favourite, however, sounds gross. The Scotch and cigar cupcake was only available in-store and limited to 1 per customer. It was also age-restricted. The frosting was made with Lefroy Scotch whisky, which is a peaty malt that tastes a bit like hot mud, an acquired taste to say the least. But the boozy frosting wasn't the weird thing here. The cake itself was flavoured with molasses, black pepper, and infused with actual tobacco. If you've ever sipped a pint of beer that someone has accidentally dropped a cigarette butt in, this won't appeal to you. This sole, gross-sounding cupcake aside, the rest of the products they offered sounded delicious. Sadly, the bakery has since closed forever. Co-owner Leslie Feinberg stated that the dessert scene was moving in a direction that I wasn't interested in. Fair enough, but like many other recently shuttered small independent businesses in the Big Apple, it's sad to see them go. Chewy milk. During ancient times in Ireland, milk had a special status as a delicacy. However, the milk of that era differed significantly from what we consider milk today. It had a distinct yellow colour and a bubbly consistency, requiring a slow chewing process akin to that of soft cheese. Interestingly, it often took longer to chew this milk than it did to chew meat. Even though the Irish had a deep fondness for potatoes, this staple crop didn't find its way to Ireland until the late 1600s. Consequently, milk reigned supreme in the Irish diet during this transitional period. Various forms of milk were consumed, including drinking milk, buttermilk, fresh curds, old curds, and a special variety known as real curds. It was during this era of milk's dominance that the concept of chewy milk emerged. In 1690, a visitor noted that the Irish enjoyed milk in approximately 20 different ways, both as a beverage and as a food. These milk options have persisted in Ireland's culinary traditions to this day, albeit with the utilisation of modern technology and improved hygiene practices. Kivak. Kivak is an extremely stomach-straining and in fact dangerous food that completely tops any other bird-based dish. The Icelandic heritage food known as kivak consists of the fermented, some might say decomposed, corpses of small marine birds related to puffins, muris and gulls. The birds are captured with hunting nets and sewn into aged seal skins before being buried underground for up to 3 years. The birds slowly marinate in seal oil in the cold Arctic tundra. The resulting meal, when finally dug up, is not only somewhat repulsive, but in fact may be deadly due to the potential for botulism. A famous research biologist's last meal was kivak. Shirako. Japan is infamous for its bizarre cuisine, and shirako stands as one of its strangest offerings. Shirako refers to the sperm sacs and accompanying semen of male fish known as milt. These delicate sacs are highly prized and considered a delicacy in Japan. Shirako is harvested from various fish species including cod, anglerfish, salmon and pufferfish during the winter months when they produce the most seminal fluid, resulting in a richer flavour. Once harvested, shirako can be prepared in numerous ways to entice adventurous palates. Raw shirako resembles a soft, scrambled brain-like semi-solid. Light cooking enhances its creaminess, transforming it into a custard-like dish based on seminal fluid. For those hesitant to try it fresh, shirako can be coated in tempura batter and deep-fried, creating a crunchy and creamy sperm sac. Considered the most prized part of the fish, shirako holds the status of culinary delicacy. In some areas, even tiny portions of shirako sell for over $100. The most esteemed variety is the shirako of the pufferfish, known as fugu, which reigns supreme as the grandest delicacy among sperm sacs. Lamb caramels. In Hokkaido, Genghis Khan is a local dish of shredded mutton barbecue. The traditional dish is prepared in a skillet with lamb meat grilled at the top of the pan surrounded by various vegetables. That sounds like it could possibly be a delicious dish, but would it be as good in candy form? In 2002, the owner of Sapporo Gourmet Foods developed the Genghis Khan caramel candy. He originally tried selling it as a sauce, but the product wasn't performing well. They decided to rebrand the product and began selling it as a flavoured treat instead. The novelty candy is flavoured like lamb curry with a hint of sweetness. Each box of this strange candy comes with 18 individually wrapped caramels that make a great gag gift for friends and family. Serpent burger. In the southwestern US, rattlesnakes are not only feared, but they're raised as food by specialty suppliers. Proponents of rattler rations note that snake flesh is biologically similar to chicken, believed to be due to the supposed reptilian ancestry of birds. It is a surprisingly southwestern dish that makes a trip to the desert very authentic. In Southeast Asia, eateries are actively marketing their own snake snacks in the form of actual snake burgers made from cobras and other snakes. Because snakes are venomous rather than poisonous, it is perfectly safe to eat snake flesh itself, as the toxin is not distributed throughout the tissues. After filleting and frying, you would never know you were not eating beef or chicken. Balut. So it's a hard-boiled egg. What's weird about that? Think again, because lurking beneath the innocent-looking shell is a tiny duck fetus that's been boiled alive. Nice. To make it, fertilized duck eggs are incubated for up to 20 days and then cooked to create this gruesome delight. Eating the balut is an involved process. Crack it open and you'll see a tasty broth. It's here where sensible people stop while the fearless go full throttle for that embryotic goodness. Take a trip to the Philippines and you can casually devour this delicacy with a beer. But let's be honest, it's going to take more than that to wash this foul dish down. Mice wine. Having a nice glass of wine is a much better idea if it has baby mice in it. Then again, what's wrong with a nice Merlot? Why is stealing mice from their parents and fermenting them in rice wine a better idea? Are we just throwing in all things that rhyme together? Let's put some lice, dice and ancient sacrifice in there while we're at it. Anyway, the baby mice are left there for around a year, and it's probably safe to drink this health tonic. The Chinese believe that it can help with asthma, although it apparently tastes like gasoline. We'll stick with the Merlot, thanks. Tuna eyeballs. A good food mantra is, if it appeared on the dinner table in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, don't eat it. But the Japanese appear to have ignored that advice. Enter tuna eyeballs. Gross. It's hard to avoid them. Their gaze follows you from stalls and markets, daring you to give them a try. Normally boiled and seasoned with soy sauce and rice wine, they apparently taste like a cross between a hard-boiled egg and squid. Tasty. They're packed with omega-3. So if you can get past the fact that you're eating the chewy, rubbery eyeball of a tuna, your intelligence will soar. It may be a good thing that the Japanese are making the most of every tuna, as overfishing is putting these animals at risk of extinction. Ground turkey. Ground turkey is often touted as a healthier and leaner alternative to ground beef, but in a recent study conducted by Consumer Reports, a staggering 257 samples of ground turkey available in the United States were subjected to testing. Shockingly, more than half of these samples were found to be contaminated with bacteria originating from fecal matter. The results revealed that a whopping 69% of the samples contained Enterococcus, while 60% harboured the presence of E. coli. While thorough cooking can usually eliminate these bacteria, it's hard to muster up an appetite when faced with the unpalatable idea of a fecal burger instead of a delectable turkey burger. Alaskan ice cream. Step 1. Beat a seal to death with a bat. Step 2. Wait, who cares about Step 2? Let's take a closer look at Step 1. Sure enough, akutuk, known as Alaskan Indian ice cream in Alaska, is an ice cream made in Canada and Alaska with origins in the native Eskimos of the regions, but also adopted more broadly by those living there. Whereas the rest of us use fat from eggs or milk to make our ice cream, this one uses caribou fat and oil from freshly beaten seals. Yes, you can legally beat seals to death in Canada. You can also legally hunt polar bears. It's mixed with berries and sweet roots. And if the idea of sweetened and chilled seal fat doesn't turn your stomach, how about this? It's traditionally made with the addition of fish and dried moose meat. Yep, fishy, meaty ice cream made from bashed seals and animal fat. It's not helped by the fact that it looks like a bowl of sick either. Oysters. This particular entry offers a different perspective compared to the other points on the list because most people who eat oysters don't even realise that they're alive at the time. To be fair, it's often difficult to tell. Oysters are generally served live because they deteriorate much faster than most other animals when dead. When their shells are cracked open, they can survive for a significant amount of time. It's only when the flesh is actually separated from the shells that they begin to die. This is why oysters are almost always sucked directly out of their shells. So while this is much less extreme than most of the other entries, it is a lot more common. It is quite likely that many of you will have eaten oysters without knowing this, and it probably won't be too long until you're offered them again. World's hardest dish. The Chinese dish called soudui, suck and throw, has gained traction on social media for its peculiar take on street food. The stones are stir-fried with an array of vegetables and spices such as chili oil, garlic and rosemary, supposedly flavour-coating them. The way it's eaten is simple: suck and throw. People are supposed to suck on the small rocks to relish the rich and spicy flavour of the dish, which originates in the eastern Chinese province of Hubei. They're instructed to suck off the flavours, then spit out the rocks, hence the dish's name, sui dui, meaning suck and dispose. One serving costs about $2. Sui dui is believed to date back hundreds of years. According to a local media report, boatmen passed it down for generations through their oral history. Back in the old days, boatmen could become stranded in the middle of a river and run out of food while delivering goods. To find happiness in the bitterness, the report said they would find stones to cook with other condiments to make a dish. Videos of internet users sampling soi dui have sprung up all over Chinese social media in the recent times. They also show how street vendors cook up the unusual dish. Silkworms. Various insects are considered a delicacy in many cultures. In China, silkworms are one of those insects, and they're enjoyed by the locals. Silkworm pupae remaining after their fibrous cocoons have been harvested are used in several different ways for consumption. The flavour is like shrimp or crab and has a chewy consistency. Silkworms can be found in local markets cooked in several ways or stocked frozen and canned. Chinese-style silkworms are added to stir-fry with your favourite vegetables, soy sauce and seasonings. It's normally served up with rice or noodles, or the pupae can be deep-fried and served with your choice of dipping sauce. If you're not sold on consuming the insect in your stir-fry, you can always start with the sweeter and more tourist-friendly version, chocolate-covered silkworms. Godzilla ramen. Foodies can't calm down their cravings for weird dishes. Days after people were seen eating stone-based food preparations in China, another weird recipe has gone viral from Taiwan. What is it? Godzilla ramen is what people call it, as the non-veg delicacy saw a crocodile leg popping out of the bowl. The Taiwanese eatery Nuwu Mao Kue also shared several videos on the Facebook page informing people about their new dish. It was learned that many visited the Yunlin County restaurant to get a glimpse of the quirky dish and try it along with their friends. The soupy and a little spooky dish instantly went viral on social media, taking the internet by storm. It attracted mixed reactions, as some wanted to try and taste the weird food item, while others said, no.